Hey everybody, it's Corey again. I'm here to present a website that I call Quizlet, or that is called Quizlet. And Quizlet is used to create a vocabulary list with definition and pictures, and then create a quiz or test from that vocabulary list to assess students on vocabulary. Um, some of the functions, or the basic functions of Quizlet, are virtual flashcards, which can be teacher or student created, an assessment tool to practice vocabulary terms using flashcards, and of course some fun review games, and also a game that you can play live in your classroom. I'm going to demonstrate some ways that I use Quizlet to present vocabulary to my students and how I prepare them for their weekly formative assessments. I also use Quizlet vocabulary sets to review with students in class before a large test, or just to remind them of the vocabulary that they need to know. So if you go to Quizlet.com and you can sign up or you can log in. I'm going to log in because I already have an account. So I'm going to log in. As you see here, you can log in through Facebook and then attach things on Facebook. And you can also log in through Google and attach things on Google. So when I log in, it already knows I'm a teacher. I have a few classes set up, but I don't use the classes in Quizlet. I use the vocabulary sets, and then I share the link with my students through Google Classroom to get to the vocabulary sets. So I'm going to start with the rock cycle model, because that is the indicator that we're working on this week. And I'm going to show you some features. So here's the flashcards. Click on flashcards. Students, when they see this, they can click on flashcards.
Intrusive igneous.
And then it reads you the word, and then they can flip it.
Molten rock cools slowly beneath the Earth's surface.
And once again, they have a picture right here. So they can go through the list, or they can shuffle, or they can play. So it goes in an order. They can also click on learn, which it gives them the definition, and then they can type in the answer. And you said cementation. The correct answer is compaction. They can override it, saying I was right, just in case they might have not capitalized the first letter. But then, or they can just say, or they can press any key, or they can press that button to continue, because most of the time they're using this on their iPads. They can do speller. It's simple, type what you hear.
Metamorphic. Fermentation. Molten rock.
So on and so forth. Then I love this part of Quizlet is they can make a test, and what I call a quiz, but they can make a test. And the test options, I always have them come down here and unclick written, because like I said, when they're typing in the answer, sometimes it's a capitalized letter, sometimes it's lowercase, sometimes it's the words are plural or singular, and they might not realize that. So I have them just keep written unchecked, and they can choose from matching, multiple choice, true and false. A lot of my students like matching. A lot of them just like simply true and false. I give them the option they can pick to start with the term and then find the definition, or start with the definition, find the term, or mix it up both. And then I also tell them to click the show images, because a lot of them, the images are very helpful in answering. And then they click create new test, and they can go through and type in the answers right online. So A, whatever, B, C, D, multiple choice, igneous, the rock cycle, magma or lava, process of sedimentary rock formation where minerals come out of solution, then true and false, and then they can check their answers. And then I have them either screenshot this or show it to me right away, and then I record their score on their first one, and then they can always retake for a better score. I give them a certain time limit, or they have to get 100% on 2 different tests that they create. Then there's a game called Scatter, and they have to match these names with the definitions. And there's that. I'm not going to go the rest of the way. Then there's a game called Gravity. So gravity is where you have to protect the planet, and you got to spell the word before it hits the planet, and then it'll blow the asteroid up. I'm pretty sure that this game is not on their iPads, but if they are working at a desktop, they can play the Gravity game. And then there's also an option on here for Quizlet Live if you are into teachers. So then this gives you a list of what you missed. Maybe if they want to study, they can also click on the original list of words, and then they click on the alphabetical list of words. So that's like the sets in Quizlet that you can create and have the students practice vocabulary, and they can show you their scores and their information. And a lot of my students, since everybody just goes under the same thing, I don't really keep track in here of their scores. If I had classes in Quizlet, I could keep track of their scores easily. I just trust them for the most part. So I'm going to go back to the list, and I'm going to go have it in alphabetical order. And then, so for this week, before their mini assessment, I gave them the Quizlet list of vocabulary words, and then I also gave them this assignment, which I called it Mini Assessment 2 Vocabulary Project. So this is what their option to do was to either create a comic strip, song, poem, or short story illustrating the rock cycle. And they could use the terms, or they needed to probably use the terms. Some of the terms we didn't study quite yet when I assigned this assignment. And they can use the boxes below. So here are all the terms that they can get from the Quizlet. And then here's the boxes below that they can use to create their comic strip or short story. Some of my students created a song or a poem, and then they sang or they read their poem to me. And all they had to do was then type their poem to get full credit. And this was due before their mini assessment on Tuesday. So I think that's a pretty cool way. There's been other ways that I've used the Quizlet vocabulary. And the other way that I used the Quizlet vocabulary list was I had the students use the Frayer model, which they had to have the word, the definition in their own words. They had to draw a picture, and then they had to write a sentence with the vocabulary word in it. So I think that Quizlet has improved students' understanding of science concepts greatly. The teacher or student-made sets are used in many projects, like the one I showed you, where the students are required to use the words in ways of their choosing. Also, I mentioned the Frayer model, which is a vocabulary strategy that I assigned to the students in order to get them to use the words as well. The model requires word, definition, sentence, and picture, which I explained to you. And all the requirements come from Quizlet except for the sentence portion, which means they have to actually use that word in their own context to create a sentence. I totally would suggest using Quizlet in your classroom. A lot of the social studies teachers also use Quizlet, so they have their word, their definition, and then pictures. And I'm going to show you how to add to this list. I'm just going to add a word, add or remove terms, just to show you real quick of how you could do this. I'm going to add volcano. And then I could always search for the definition. And then, so here are definitions that are suggested by Quizlet. So, event Earth crust through molten rock flows. The surface are forced out. I would kind of like that one. And then they also give you pictures. For the free version, they give you 8 pictures to choose from. And if you want to buy the upgrade, you can get unlimited images. But I just choose the free stuff as a teacher. So I like that image. And then, of course, I can read it to them. And I'm going to click Done. And as you can see, volcano is then added to my list of words. And I'm going to go ahead and share this. So I click Share. And like I said, you can use through Facebook, Twitter, and Google Classroom, which I use it through Google Classroom. But then I just copy this link right here, the short URL, copy and paste it into my Google Classroom in the About section so that all of their Quizlets are going to be there when they go to take the unit test at the end of the year. Any questions, feel free to email me. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoy Quizlet, and I think my students do as well. Thank you, and have a great day.